Man, look at all this bait right here. There's so much shad right here. So I'm working down a shallow grass flat here. And the bank it's about a foot of water up there, and it comes down to about 2 feet. Real shallow, there's a little bit of current here. There's patches of grass around I could see on my 360 imaging. You know, when you think of jerkbait fishing, you're thinking, you know, rock flats, rock points, wind-blown points, and maybe, you know, fishing a jerkbait around standing timber up there in the Ozarks. And that's all cool and everything. But man, I like being different. I like throwing different baits, and this thing really allows me to give shallow grass fish a different presentation. And again, whenever you have that left to right darting action in a larger than normal profile, like this 110 Max LBO, it just appeals to a different type of fish. That, you know, a lot of these shallow grass fish in the South, they see a bunch of swim jigs, they see a bunch of shallow running crankbaits, they see a bunch of topwaters. But when you have something, a bait as big as this, you know, that moves from left to right, it really, really triggers those fish into committing to the bait. So I just look for shallow grass, man. Anywhere there's submergent grass, from 6 feet of water or shallower. I like finding little pockets and jerking the 110 Max out of these pockets. It gets a lot of fish to react that way. Anywhere there's current breaks, shallow water willow, overhanging trees, laydowns, not your traditional jerkbait style water. That's really where the 110 Max LBO shines, is your non-traditional pieces of cover. Now it does work well, very well on rocky points, main lake rocky points, wind-blown flats in ultra clear water. Because of the LBO system, you can make those long casts, those long presentations, but I really like it in this real shallow stuff where the normal guy would throw a spinnerbait. Got one. Ah, that fish crushed that bait. Look at that, all kinds of sideways. Ooh, he hammered it. That was a really strong bite. The LBO, it's a linear bearing oscillator. If you look at the center of that belly there, it's basically a stainless steel tube with ball bearings in it. It's a new age weight transfer system with a magnet in it. And every time this LBO disengages, it moves to the rear of the bait. You're able to cast it a long way, be real accurate with it. And once the bait hits the water, you give it one jerk and that LBO oscillator there falls directly into the belly of the bait, giving it the best balance. And as you jerk it left to right, it stays hooked up in that magnet, and it's got a real nice long stride to it. A little bit longer than the original 110. It's more appealing to the larger fish, especially real shallow. My favorite thing about the 110 Max is the fact that when you pair it with a 20-pound test monofilament and a 7'1", almost a jig rod, a Destroyer FMJ, real stiff rod to take up the slack in the stretchy monofilament, on every jerk, that LBO Max will dart left to right and left to right. The really cool thing about this bait is I could be real accurate with it with a shorter 7'1" rod and jerk it around that cover and almost maneuver it around cover just like I did there. That was really cool. So whenever I'm on a good kind of jerkbait bite or reaction bite, I will never ever pass under a bridge and not throw a jerkbait. There's a lot of active bait fish around bridges. In this case, a 110 Max LBO, I can make real long casts because of that LBO system. Got the wind blowing, but again, it goes back to precision casts. And if I want to make a cast in between each and every one of these pilings, I could do that with that LBO system. This thing casts like a dart. I mean, I'm a good, 60 feet away, and I can make those pinpoint casts because when that LBO system is towards the tail, all that weight just moves like a dart. I know I'm gonna have complete accuracy